We are here with András Lakézi, the General Manager of Hotel Clark Budapest and Leon Hotel and Lounge Budapest. Thank you for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Great to have you.
Thank you. So, how would you describe the hotel's philosophy and the specific experience you aim to provide to your guests?
Well, our philosophy is very straightforward, I must say. Everything we do is really focusing on one thing and one thing only, really, which is the guest experience. So all we do, all the procedures, all the small and the big maneuvers, actions, and all that we do is built around the guest experience. We kind of thrive every day to provide something meaningful on top of the standard hotel experience that you can gain everywhere. We try to personalize their stay, and obviously, we're very lucky to be here where we are, right in the center, just by the side of the chain bridge. So we try to really understand each and every of them, what they're looking for, what their aspirations for a particular trip, and we have like a very solid team of specialists built around it, and yeah, we just kind of try to challenge ourselves every day, doing the best on squeezing every drop out of everything we can arrange around to really make their stay special and memorable. That's kind of the main philosophy.
And what are currently the greatest challenges the hotel faces, and how is the management addressing them?
Well, I think we're pretty fortunate in a sense that, touch wood, but the hotel is doing really well. Last year, we kind of broke every record since the hotel stands, both in an economical point of view, and also I think even more important in terms of all the feedback matrices that we kind of measure ourselves on. So, but obviously, we faced similar challenges like anyone else. Obviously, the competition is fierce. There are many superb hotels in Budapest, so we kind of need to innovate constantly and like I said before, just kind of constantly challenge ourselves to do better and find that little gap from 97% to 100%, which is always the hardest. Obviously, there is a bit of a fight for talent at the moment, which we I think managing pretty well. We do look after our team really well. We do focus on training and kind of developing our own people. So I must say, as a consequence, the hotel is doing pretty well, but obviously we do have very similar challenges like our competitors in the industry.
How have guest expectations changed in the recent years, and how did the hotel adapt to these?
In the five-star kind of luxury market where we play, kind of the general expectations hasn't changed that much. Obviously, you kind of look for something truly special, you do look for comfort, luxury. I think what probably did change is the technicality around it. So there are several tools for any traveler to kind of measure the hotels, compare the hotels. Everything is getting more and more data-driven, not just for us operators, but also for the guests, which I think is good. It's kind of a fair measurement to kind of compare, these platforms, the hotels. And again, we're quite lucky in a sense that we're doing pretty well. Just recently we won a big international award based on the guest feedback last year. So I think if anything, technology around it is on the guest side is quite sophisticated by now. And also in general, I think guests and travelers, they kind of becoming quite knowledgeable about hospitality itself. They do tend to eat out. Obviously the world is getting smaller and smaller in a sense that, many people enjoying city breaks multiple times a year, so they do have comparison and all that, which makes it even more exciting for us. I think it's just getting a bit more sharper, a bit more fierce around them, and today's guests, they really know what they want. They look for personalization, they look for unique experiences. I think Hotel Clark and I must say even Budapest as a whole, it's a great playfield for that.
What future developments are you planning in the next 1 to 3 years?
Well, we're very lucky in a sense that kind of the owners behind the hotel, they're very keen on not just kind of constantly maintaining the property, but also to develop at all times. We have a very solid 3-year plan for the property where we kind of plan these developments in advance. So kind of the hardware is one thing. And also I think it's quite important to say that we pay a huge attention to the fact that, you know, these properties are kind of treated as a living and breathing unit. So we have a very meticulous system for periodic checks and all that. And what we also do constantly, again, not just in the next coming years, but at all times, we do listen to feedback. Many of the developments that we do around the property is kind of based on what our guests telling us, you know, whether that be equipment in the rooms or kind of just more general things in the common areas. And also, obviously, we keep a quite keen eye on the business side of things. We use already, you know, AI for several business programs that we do, mostly in terms of comparisons with the competitors and pricing and all that. I don't want to give you much headache with those, but we do tend to use kind of a cutting edge technology on all these, which is very exciting, and actually we learn quite a lot as we're doing it. So I think these three things, you know, maintenance of the property and constant development, listening to the feedback of our guests, and kind of just action every development according to those feedback, and probably above all is just kind of keeping ahead of all the technical developments.
Now on a personal level, what's your biggest accomplishment yet, and what do you aim to achieve in the near future?
A couple of years back, when I joined this company, if someone was to give me a blank paper and just tell me to kind of write up the dream job for me, I would pretty much draft what I do now. Quite confidently can say, you know, like we operate an industry-leading boutique hotel in Budapest, and also we opened a little sister property to it just last year. We also operate a couple of restaurants, both in Budapest and some in the countryside. Some interesting developments. So, you know, all in all, it's a great field. In terms of, you know, like obviously I grew up in this, and everyone has their own bucket list and all that. So last year when Hotel Clark won a Michelin key, one of the first ones to do this in the entire country, and obviously it was a very proud moment and kind of a true reflection of all the effort that the team does here day in and day out, kind of looking after our guests and just kind of thriving for the best. I would say that was one of them. And then if we kind of look a little bit ahead, our company, Union Hotel Management, like I said, you know, we operate a super nice portfolio. So it's a clear target for me to kind of really do that on an industry leading level, not just regionally, but also kind of internationally, you know, so kind of that's the goal.
Thank you very much. And
you're very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
All right, lovely to have you.